Book of Life, the Chinese medicine health arts practice of long life and self-healing, Sheng Lin.
文讯
September 2015. Introduction. The Book of Life is about long life and healthy life. Long life is always a topic in China for several thousand years, no matter for ordinary people or powerful rulers. To wish people long life is a very good tradition. Long live the king. Long live the emperor. In thousands of years, many dynasties' emperors have been funding the doctors, apothecaries, philosophers or monks to find the way to let them live forever. It is this type of tradition established the Chinese medicine. The first and fundamental Chinese medicine book, the Bible of Huang Di Emperor, had made this point clear. This 2,500-year-old medicine book was written as the conversation of the powerful emperor and his premier Qibo, instead of some famous doctors. Discussion. In the opening of this book the emperor asked, how can we live hundreds of years and still healthy enough to keep reproductive capability? Not only he wanted long life but must also be very healthy and capable. There were no religions in ancient China, only philosophy. The difference between philosophy and religion is all about life and death. Philosophy mostly is interested in life and nature, while religions always claim that they know what happens after death. Philosophy focuses on life while religion focuses on death. In Chinese traditional culture, no one wanted to talk about after-death issues, not Taoist, not Confucians and not the Chinese medicine. We do not care and do not want to know those illusory scenarios. We only care about our real life, how to live longer and live healthier. Therefore, my Book of Life is based on this philosophy. This is basically the vision of Chinese mediation. What is Chinese medicine? People would always refer to herbs. This is partially true and inadequate. From the original Chinese medicine theory, it is said the self-healing power is the key to avoid and cure diseases. It was said that the best doctors were to keep healthy people healthy and the ones who can only use drugs to help people when they are sick were considered to be second level. It is known that animals and human beings have a very strong and mysterious self-healing system, or vis medicatrix nature. For example, the healing power of nature in the Western terminology. Because the power is the human nature and it is within the human body, it is also called inner power or innate power. The primitive Chinese medicine was the self-healing practice to help you gaining back your innate protection power. This type of practice was originated by the Taoists and adopted by Chinese medicine in the history. The earlier traditional Chinese medicine theory articles and books were written by Taoists and the early practitioners are actually Taoists. In the early days the philosophy of Chinese medicine was not set out to fix other people's diseases. It was a self-healing philosophy with a goal of long life. The ancient doctors for sick people were actually the village elders who have the knowledge of some grass and root to release children's fever or diarrhea. They are the so-called herbs pictaste. Herbal apothecary. In primitive pre-civil time, the systematic medicine use of herbs was developed much later and it is also by experiences instead of from the theory. The first herbal medical book, 100 Herbs, was said being written by the ancient agriculture god after he had tasted hundreds of herbs by himself. The great contribution of Chinese medicine is not just this grass tasting, it is the combination usage of various herbs prescription. Single herbal drug was found in the world in different ancient countries. 100 types of herbs are not a big number to compare with millions of plants, but over 1 million records of the combination prescriptions saved from all different diseases experiences in the past 2,000 years is a sole distinguish of the traditional Chinese medicine. Herbs, with some exceptions, mostly by themselves do not kill virus and bacteria directly, do not kill the cancer cells nor fix heart problem. The use of herbs is said to either cool you down when you are too heated or warm you up when your body's inner organs are too cold. If you feel very weak and lazy then take some herbs to make you strong and exciting. If you have too much strength in your body that make you exciting then take some herbs to calm you down. What that means is to keep your body in balance, and the balance is the source of strength of your self-healing system, to keep your inner body in nature. Therefore, Herbal medical also fits into this philosophy well, and it is distinguished from the Western chemical drugs in theory, which are used to kill the virus and bacteria directly. And that's perhaps why the Westerners do not recognize the Chinese traditional herbal medicine as drug. They only recognize the chemicals extracted from plants such as artemisinin or ephedrine as drug, but not the plant Artemisia or ephedra itself. Well, different basic theory directed to different ways. Chemical drug has chemical drug S benefit, and herbal medicine has herbal medicine S benefit. So do not belittle each other, and do try to understand the others. The Chinese medicine theory in the original expectation was to let people have the knowledge of improving their own health by improving their human immunity and self-recovery capabilities. If you can keep yourself always in natural balance, then there is no need for herbal medicine in theory. However, in theory it is true, but for practical they cannot make everyone in China to be a doctor of his own. Therefore lately the herbal drug had become a mainstream for the medical practice to deal with massive diseases of masses people. The self-healing stream was developed into another path which is now called the health arts, or traditional Chinese medicine health arts, which is now become a very important part of Chinese culture. It has been developed broadly and adopted by the practitioners of Taoists, Buddhists, martial arts, healthcare systems and so on. These people were all based on the same philosophy. Without confusing, when people are talking about some Chinese Buddhist meditation or Taoist breath exercise, they are really talking about the health arts practice instead of religion. The breathing meditation was developed in China in about 2000 BC and became very popular in about 500 BC. It is not a religional activity, instead it is the religion practitioners in over 1000 years later adopted this health exercises to strengthen themselves. Chinese religions are very often teaching people this type of meditation and educating people with health arts philosophy to make the way for their existence, so that eventually they have made themselves become not so religions but arts and culture. So the original mainstream of Chinese medicine has become health arts culture and somehow put religion label for spreading, while the herbal apothecary was labeled Chinese medicine to sell. In this book, I am not going to touch the herbal medical side. I only cover the Chinese medicine health arts side. When I say Chinese medicine in this book, I do only mean the stream of health arts. When I mention Taoist and Buddhist, I don't mean the religion, only talk about the Taoist health arts and Buddhist health arts, as well. When we are talking about martial arts, we are talking about the health side of the arts, not the killing or fighting skills. This must be noticed. There are two parts in this book. Part I is the theories and the interpretation of the ancient philosophy into more modern terms. Part A is the different type of exercise practices selected from Taoist mind-body exercises, Buddhist Zen mental practice and Buddhist Zangmi yoga, Tibet Tantric yoga, without religion ideas. I will use some types of ancient Chinese medicine Jingmai channel, exercises such as Yi Jin Jing, 6-word breath exercise and 5 animal plays. I will also write how to do martial arts for self-healing purposes and focus on Jikun. I will extract the exercises out of them and accordingly categorize them as physical body and internal body exercises, meditation spirit exercises, breathing and chi exercises, martial art mind and body duality exercise, and so on. My focus is really on philosophy and methodology. If some readers are not interested in those exercises but interested in the Chinese medicine itself, reading this book would help. You do not see many books or articles spent this much detailed explanation of the original ancient theory in today's language as this one. If you are desired to do the exercises that you have heard a lot of them, or if you are a yoga or Ji or Taoist practitioner already, I advise you to read the theory and philosophy more carefully to understand the why and the how. I have used most of the listed exercises as examples in the theory part to explain how the theory fit the practice and apply the principle to the exercises. It is very important to the practitioners to understand the principle of these exercises. If not, they are merely physical exercises like sports anyway. Please be noted that, here I am going to use the Chinese terminologies and explain them in detail but not using the English translation words, such as Jing Qi Shen, Jing Mai, Dantian, Zen, Mi etc. Readers should get used to these words. There are no English words to fit them one-on-one. Part I, Health Theories of Chinese Medicine, Taoism and Buddhism, Chapter 1, The Basics.
一、
Yin-Yang and Nature of Tao. The Chinese medicine theory is mostly developed from the ancient Chinese philosophy. It is the philosophy of Yin-Yang in I Ching, I Ching, and the philosophy of Sky-Earth-Human in harmony of Taoism, namely Nature of Tao. This is the philosophy we are going to talk about in this book all the time. There is only one Chinese ancient philosophy, not many philosophies. Taoism philosophy, Confucian philosophy, Yin-Yang and Qi philosophy and the so-called gold, wood, water, fire, soil five elements philosophy etc. are all based on one principal philosophy, which is the I Ching's principle. The difference of those philosophers is the focus area. For example, Confucius philosophy focused on the human-society relations, Lao-Tzu Taoism focused on human life and Yin-Yang and five elements philosophy focused on the universe regulation. However, they are all evolved from one basic philosophy of I Ching. Therefore, the traditional Chinese medicine philosophy is also called Yin-Yang human nature philosophy or just Chinese medicine philosophy. Applied into the human health, it becomes that the human body or inner body should always keep in balance or to be kept in balance. This is the meaning of Yin-Yang philosophy. The human beings should always follow the changes of the sky and the earth, for example the nature of Tao. That is to follow the day and night by working in the daytime and rest in the night. That also is to follow the seasons by wearing more cloths in the cold winter and finding the cool place under the tree in the hot summer and so on. As a beginner to this philosophy it can be as simple as that. Do not take Yin-Yang and Tao as some occultism, mysticism also. Notice that the word
道
Tao or Tao means the way. And this Tao philosophy is specified as the way of nature, not the highway or railway for running cars or trains. Taoism to be translated into plain English should be the metaphysics philosophy of the way of human and nature, and this way means the development path, the relations, the regulations and laws of human life and universe. The earliest Yin and Yang is actually talking about the moon and the sun.
易
Yi Jing or I Ching was written several thousand years ago. This Chinese character means changing. Its upper part is the character of sun,
日
and the lower part is moon.
月
Sun and moon keep changing to make day and night, Yang and Yin changes. And this is the Tao of universe. Yi and Tao are the same philosophy. Even today in the Chinese language, the moon is still called Tai Yin and the sun is called Tai Yang, in which Tai means extreme. Moon has the cool light and sun has the hot light. The sun's hot light is called Yang light. Therefore, in the mountain sides, the side that has the sunlight is called Yang side and the side without is called the Yin side. The English word dark side is translated into Chinese as the Yin side, meaning this side has never had sunshine. Therefore, with multiple meanings to it, the Yin can be cool or dark and the Yang can be hot or bright. So then, it is easy now to look into the human body about the Yin and Yang. The skin is in the Yang side and the stomach, heart, liver etc. are in the Yin side, head on the top is Yang, feet in the bottom are Yin, for example. When you eat something not comfortable you feel your stomach so cold, then you should eat ginger to warm it up. It is said to keep your stomach Yin-Yang in balance, therefore to fix your pain. Something like that, and you can go on and on. Even when someone get a cancer, you can say he might be too stressful, too much depression that makes his mind or consciousness too dark, too Yin, and therefore, the not so healthy depression personality caused the cancer cells to grow. Therefore, people should always keep their mind in Yin-Yang balance. Be happy, don't worry, and be bright in your mind instead of depression kind of in the darkness to avoid cancer. Am I right? This type of cancer and depression related theory is now proven to be true. However, some Chinese intellectuals have said that long time ago, according to the Yin-Yang philosophy, before the Westerns recognized that. The above is only some random examples for the purpose of argument regards Yin-Yang. I am not going to expressively relating all the diseases to the theory in this book. And also I need to point out that, By using philosophy to direct real practice can be dangerous in several ways. One is, there is no such thing as absolute truth of the universe philosophically, meaning, the philosophy is not always true to everything. The second is, sometimes the philosophy by itself is good but people might use it wrongly when they apply it to something they are not so sure. For example, when they say the skin is yang and the liver inside is yin, it is alright in theory, but you cannot therefore recommend your patient to open his chest to let his liver to get some sunshine in order to cure his liver illness. That is the so-called wrong application of a right philosophy. To be not so extreme, a lot of time if you feel your stomach cold, you drink hot water and that will make it worse, since this cold feeling is not because you have eaten too much ice cream, it is because you have eaten some allergic food. For example, some people are very allergic to seafood, so that hot water doesn't help. It doesn't mean the yin-yang theory is wrong. It is just because you apply it wrong. This cold feeling is not by temperature. To apply it right, you should eat some warm food such as ginger, using the warm feeling of ginger to overcome the cool feeling of seafood allergy in your stomach. That is the right way to apply yin-yang. The martial art Qigong, for example, was named based on the yin-yang theory. Qi means yin-yang. It is said that when you are fighting with martial arts you should follow the yin-yang theory to fight with smart strategy. You do not always attach with very yang excitement. You should know how and when to retrieve to trick your enemy. This is called yin strategy. Attach with explosive power is yang and endless attach is yang and yang forever. That will make you exhausted. This is not healthy if you take Qigong to do exercise instead of fighting. You should use your internal power or inner force to do slow movement. Inner force is coming from your inner body organs and channels. It is yin force to compare to the external muscle explosive yang force. Therefore, Qigong is yin-yang combination health exercise. The Taoist philosophy of sky-earth human in harmony is also very important and very basic in the health theory. People cannot against the nature or the law of nature. People should follow the nature's rule and follow the changes of the nature. In here, the sky-earth in today's language is nature. Therefore the Taoism is, follow the nature. In plain English, follow the nature you shall be healthy and vice versa. The simplest example is that people who always sleep in the daytime and work in the night shift are not healthy. If you insist to wear a pair of shorts in the winter with 20°C and you are not a Superman, you must be sick shortly or you must be crazy already. More importantly, this follow the nature philosophy is often applied to the psychology side than the physical side. The above physical side of example is just for the sake of explanation. If one is not a fool, he will not really wear shorts in the winter. But in the psychology side, it is more complex. For example, the anxiety. Naturally, you should not be so anxious to get rich or famous or powerful overnight even if you feel you are very capable. You should go step by step and always do the things within your capacity and suit your capability. Force yourself to go beyond your limit is not nature. If you are against this type of natural mind and behavior, you become anxious every day and, for a period of time in anxious mind you would become the sickness of anxiety or depression. This is of course described in today's psychology book, but believe it or not, it was said 2,500 years ago by the founder of Taoism philosophy Lao Tzu in his book of Tao Te Ching. Do everything but never do it in extreme. Always retrieve yourself when you reach your goal and don't push for more. Therefore, to understand the basics and learn how to apply it into the real world is the starting point of learning Chinese medicine. That's why you always heard the Chinese doctor talking about yin-yang and the nature. The human life and body. The joke is, the Chinese body is different from the Westerns, because their heart is resided in the middle instead of in the left. This is not a joke, this is true. In the Chinese medicine books it is always like that. Why? Have you memorized this in your heart? Are you a nice man with a good heart? Did I touch your heart by saying this to you? Yes, this is a heart in the central of your soul, not the piece of muscle that jumping in your left chest.
心
If you have a Chinese English dictionary, you can see a list of English words attached to it: heart, middle, center, mind, mental, psychology. If you read the Chinese medical book throughout, you should know this heart is not that heart, the
心
here is really about psychology, and the translation shall be mind. Psychology is translated as
心理学
mind theory. You cannot translate this Chinese word back to English as heart theory. This is simple, and it is so clear that I do not know why people would be so confused. Your mind is in the center of your consciousness. Mind or brain? The system is mind system and the functional organ is brain. Where is your mind located? If the man is alive, his mind is locating in either his brain or his heart or even his toes, that we cannot prove today. But if he is dead, even though his organic brain and heart still exist, his mind is gone, and you cannot allocate his mind anywhere during the autopsy research. The major difference between Chinese and Western medicine in terms of human body is that the Chinese refer to the living person and the Western are pointing to a dead body. The Western medicine education about the human organs are from the anatomy of dead human bodies, in which the teacher would point to the things inside open chest dead body to teach his students about what and where is the heart, liver and so on, very precisely and very scientifically. However, the Chinese medicine book does not show the pictures of each organ. It gives a bigger picture about the whole and integrated life form of a human system. There are 5 functional systems: 1. The mental system, 2. The breathing, respiratory, system, 3. The blood system, 4. The digestive system, and 5. The reproductive system. They are working systems and all related in balance when a human is alive. This is written in the Health Bible of Wang Di Emperor 2500 years ago, and it is so right according to today's science. But unfortunately, the translation is wrong. You often read as 1. The function of heart, 2. The function of lung, 3. The function of liver, 4. The function of stomach, 5. The function of kidney. One organ does not have the function of a whole system. One system usually includes several organ functions. More importantly, human system as a system is because he is alive. A dead person can still have material organs but do not have any system. The knowledge of human body living systems is not gained by anatomy, of course. It is by observing from all the living persons in all angles, therefore it has a better understanding of the human life and health. It is not to say that the Chinese did not know anatomy. In the cold weapon age the martial art killing skill knew very precisely where are the deadly organs such as heart, liver, lung, brain and all of that. There the ancient Chinese doctors certainly know all the organs. Position without any doubt. However, it is better to know the whole living systems for drug curing than just knowing the position of such organ, unless he wants to do surgery. To use drug the doctor had better know the human body as a system and organs are related with each other. It is very important to understand this Chinese medicine philosophy that the body we are talking about is always alive. The theory is about a living person. A life form is a whole and integrated system with many combinations and related movement every second. And never should you assume an organ is isolate and still. Do never diagnose a problem as one sole organ's disease. This is the Book of Life all about. If you understand this, you can go on to study Chinese medicine without any confusing.
3.
Health arts versus health skill. Health arts.
养生术 术
Shu in Chinese has 2 meanings, skill and art. Sewing or shoemaking shu is skill, medical shu is skill, but singing or painting shu is art. Martial art is wushu.
武术
Translation: in the cold weapon age is it martial fighting skill. Since Qing dynasty hot weapons became the war tool, people take some martial fighting skill sets to be physical exercise with some Chinese medicine philosophy so that it became art. The reason we did not call it health skill or medical skill is because health arts are not just some knowledge and skills of medical and health care. Health arts is a very big subject in Chinese culture. It plays a big role in Chinese society for many years. It has several categories: lifestyle art, eating heal art, herbal medicine health art, philosophy heal art, religional health art, psychology health art, reading and writing health art, sports health art, martial health art, etc. Everything relates to health and they are all considered to be arts. Lifestyle is considered to be on the top list of an art. We always say to keep healthy people healthy in China, and it is true that some people say the traditional Chinese medicine is health arts. This art is good for healthy people. If you are sick, you'd better go to the general hospital to have yourself checked up, and if you need to take antibiotics or have a surgery, that do not reject it. But it is always a good philosophy that to keep a good lifestyle all the time. Illness is not unavoidable. In a lot of circumstances one can prevent to be sick. For instance, if you keep yourself warm in the cold weather and pay good attention to the outside temperature and your own cool warm feeling all the time, you can prevent to catch a cold and therefore avoid cough and pneumonia or a lot of diseases originated from cold. If you always eat and drink clean and in good diet combination, not too full and not hungry, yon can keep you digestive system health. If you can keep yourself mentally happy and always keep out of the reaction of angry, anxious, fear, worry, then you can avoid psychological illness and a lot of more physiological diseases caused by mental problems. Today people do believe one of the major causes of cancer is depression. This is just a lifestyle, not complicated and not difficult at all. Lifestyle, food, nutrition and medicine healing are no questions. Psychology is necessary. Sports are defined as health essentials. If reading and writing are a part of your work and make you stress, then it is not. But if you read something interesting and this reading is not related to your job, then it is to relieve your pressure. For example, the Chinese officials in the emperor's time were all used to reading history book in their spare time and writing poems when they gathered for some friendship events. Even some famous emperors liked this type of relief. Reading history or fictions but do not relate your own situation into it, makes you as an audience sitting in a theater watching someone else in the play. This is enjoyable and at the same time in your subconscious you actually learned something from the history, and it might help you when you suddenly find yourself face a similar challenge that has happened in the history. Philosophy is the title of this book. It is based on philosophy that I am writing this health art book, so just read on and you will know. I am the believer of philosophy health art. I also believe religions in China such as Taoism and Buddhism are all philosophy. The both of their mind and body exercises are philosophy-oriented health arts exercises. So this is the category I am writing within.
4.
Taoism philosophy is neither religion nor science. Taoism in ancient China is philosophy. It is different from the Greek philosophy except they are the same age-old. You can call it idealism or spiritualism and metaphysics, not materialism and not science. You name it with your Western knowledge, but it does not really fit into these names because the ancient Chinese philosophy is different from Greek one. It is just Lao-Tzu Taoism, not Plato whatsoeverism. We don't even call it philosophy before. I don't know who and why at first make it into the philosophy academic category. So fine, philosophy it is, but traditional Chinese philosophy to be distinguished. The traditional Chinese medicine theory is developed from this Taoist philosophy and in fact written by Taoists. They shall be in the same academic category. Taoist is definitely not religion and not the specialized spirituality with gods or ghost spirit. Do not be confused by the existence of Chinese Tao religion. It was found many years after the Taoism philosophy founder Lao's time, and he had nothing to do with such religion. They use the same name as Tao and Taoism to name the religion to confuse people, so I just want to specify it as Tao religion to be not confused. This Tao religion had adhered Lao's philosophy and the traditional Chinese medicine theory and made them as a part of the religion doctrine. But fortunately they did not say you have to believe this religion in order to have your spirit and body saved. They have founded the Chinese Tao health art based on all of these theories and practices. For over 1,000 years, they have been teaching this to attract support. Side by side with Tao religion there is Buddhist religion imported from India. They also found out that by pushing people to believe their gods does not gain much support in China. Chinese in their own tradition did not buy in this God or Buddha save your soul preaching. Therefore, some native Chinese monks smartly modified this religion to be psychology theory and practice. They told people to drop their worry to love people and animals and all living creatures, therefore you can empty your heart to gain mental health, to save your own soul. This fiction became the main Buddhist stream and it is called the Chinese Zen. Therefore, don't be afraid of the Chinese religions, they do not want your soul. The difference of the traditional Chinese philosophy from the Western and Middle East religions is that the spirit or the soul belongs to each individual human, instead of belonging to the Lord or to gods or devils. Also, the soul and the body are the two sides of one life, duality. They always live together and die together. However, the religion says the soul can live beyond the bio-body, immortality. The soul and spirit here is the nature, the human nature. It more or less means the key or core or source or center of life or deep feeling or emotion or a human embodiment, or you can use some similar terminology of metaphysics. They are immaterial existence for certain, but not gods or ghost type of thing for sure. I would like to accept it in this way. Taoism recognizes spirit and material duality and it is a spirit-directing philosophy, so does the traditional Chinese medicine. The Chinese medicine theory is based on spirit and bio-body duality. It recognizes that mental and physical both are equally important to your health. Traditional Chinese medicine has both psychology and physiology since its beginning. In most of literature in the history, spirit health is always made more important than the bio-body health. In their view, bad spirit can cause many diseases, and emotional problem will damage inner organs such as heart, liver, etc. Soul.
魂,
Han is a common terminology in Chinese medicine. Jing Qi Shen Han appears all over the books. When Buddhists came into China they picked this Han,
魂,
to translate the reincarnation soul, and after that when Christian came into China they picked this Han as the related word to translate soul. Soul can be reincarnated in Indian religion and can go to heaven in Christian, but Han cannot. This is an unfortunate translation to the very important medicine word Han. But let's call is soul. The Chinese medicine theory soul and our soul have its own definition. It does not go to anywhere and it dies with the human body and mind altogether. Soul has similar meanings as Shen, spirit or the spirit of mind, will, volition, belief, determination etc. It is actually a psychology concept somewhat like a subconscious. And in Chinese medicine, soul plays a very important role as a power or power source of people's mind to fight to the diseases. Soul in the subconscious directs a determination in your mind to overcome the pain and the illness. Soul in the subconscious makes a deep belief in your mind that you can be recovered and alive. If your body is sick and you even lost your soul, then you are hopeless, meaning even you by yourself do not believe you can be recovered from this disease. So no doctors can save you. Remember the role of soul in traditional Chinese medicine. In English, soul and spirit sometimes has the similar meaning as the above, not always religional. In the other hand, since the religions in China for so many years and had affected the Chinese culture, soul in China had been given other meanings such as heaven and hell. Therefore, this explanation is necessary. In this book I am using soul and spirit only in the Chinese medicine original meaning. Remember that I do not mean any religion or inhuman concepts. I would refer Taoism as the metaphysics philosophy, for Taoism is all about the true nature of the universe and the internal relation of nature and human. Taoism is not physics and it is beyond physics and science. We should just put this in mind when we are studying the traditional Chinese medicine. Because in my book I will have to use the Chinese medicine terminology like spirit, spiritual, soul, supernatural to keep the original taste, so I have explained these terminologies in the above without confusing. These are just the metaphysics terminology, so do not take them as religion, fantasy or compare to science physics terminologies. I am not using this philosophical opinion to argue or compare with other philosophies such as Marxism or materialism or Cartesian. I am only using Taoism philosophy to explain Chinese medicine, and that is all. Taoism is the Chinese Taoism, Chinese medicine is the Chinese medicine, They can explain themselves and by themselves very well. Usually in China's academic side, we always use Taoism to explain Taoism perfectly. But since I am writing this book in English, these questions are always asked by the English world readers unavoidably. This is not to explain to these questions about what is what to relate to the Western philosophy. I just say these words here to mean that I know all of these Western philosophy and its issues. I know and I am not against and I do not want to make the judgment of who is better. In the history, there are always people trying to do Chinese Western philosophy and medicine or psychology comparison and it is always end up miserably. It has failed a lot of learned people in the history. So I am not going to do so in this book. Chapter 2, Traditional Jing Qishan Theory.
一
The Jing Qishan
精气神
Life Forms. Jing Qishan theory is always on the top of the traditional Chinese medicine books. But it is another area that confused a lot of people in the history. First of all, simply and clearly put, Jing refers to the human body, the bioorganic life forms, Qi refers to the human force life form, Shen refers to the mental consciousness, spirit life form. Men has 3 life forms. It is the combination of 3 life forms that makes a living man. This is a very important statement I have to make in front of the following explanations before you are confused. This is a big picture. What I mean confusing is not only for the old and new English versions. It is mainly within China, in the history. Among the medicine, Taoism and common sense, Jing Qishan have many different definition and explanation. I will list them as follows and do some analysis. Jing.
精
In the modern textbook it is simply translated as essence. Traditionally, in some books is said to be the sperm or the spirit in the core of sperm. Sometimes it is described as the flesh, blood, marrow or even hormone liquid. Sometimes it refers to the nutrient that people absorbed from the food to support their life going on. It is said that the reproductive system stores innate Jing but the nutrient is post-birth or post-nature Jing. Mostly these traditional books would say, as a summary, everything in your body is a treasure to your life, they are all Jing. Jing means treasure. Innate Jing, innate Qi, innate Shen. In the traditional Chinese medicine books the prefix innate is used very often. It is not just the expression of having something before you were born and carrying something with you when you were born. This innate also means something with mysteriously power, precious treasure and spiritual. Therefore, the Jing here as bioorganic or as food supply in general are not important. The key Taoists want to make in this type of theory and people want to know is really the innate Jing with mysterious spiritual power. For example, the innate Jing stored in the human reproductive system is like that. We all know that man produces sperm and woman produces egg, but these are pros-Jing, not innate. Biosperm plus bio-egg makes a bio-baby, that is materials plus materials equal to materials scientifically. However, where is the life coming from? What makes or gives the baby a human life? Without life, it is only a piece of meat. Therefore, this Jing Qishan theory explains that human beings have an innate Jing when they are produced and give this Jing to the next generation in the reproductive process. This innate Jing that produces life is not the biosperm itself, it is something mysterious and spiritual in the sperm. So that when a baby gets his life from this mysterious innate Jing he carries on in his reproductive system and gives to the next generation. This does not seem scientific, but it is still more scientific than to believe it is God who gives your soul. At least I will refer it as an unproved hypothesis. This theory has not just satisfied with this life-born idea, it furthermore makes an important point that men should not do sex too often. The emperors and kings have too many women and wasting too much of their innate Jing, therefore they mostly live a short life. Save the innate Jing to make you healthy. Exercise to transform innate Jing into innate Qi can make you long life. Qi.
气
In the traditional medical books there are 2 types of Qi. One is the right Qi, that is the self-healing force or the internal force of immunity. One is the bad Qi, which is the cause of illness and that can be produced inside the body or invaded into your body from the outside. Qi is some kind of metaphysics energy type in a human force, but not physical energy, not physiological immunity system by itself. The bad Qi is not virus or bacteria. In this description, you need to understand the concept of human internal cause of illness. The modern knowledge says it is the virus and bacteria made you sick. It is right but not complete. The invasion of virus and bacteria is the necessary external cause, but if you do not have internal weakness, you would not be affected. When a flu virus covers an area, not everyone live there will be all sick, only those who are weak would be sick. And once some people are infected, they cannot be cured by external drugs, because antibiotics does not kill virus. To recover from the cold you still need your internal system to against the virus. The drugs we are using to prevent or fix virus flu are not direct external drugs, while they are used to strengthen our internal immunity system. For the philosophy of internal and external causes, apparently the traditional Chinese medicine is the internalism. You can make up the right Qi as the modern terminologies of immunity, white blood cells, self-healing power etc., but it is not true. It is the inner factor which helps and enhances these immunities. The Chinese medicine emphasizes on the internal cause to avoid diseases and self-recover diseases. Internalism does not deny external cause, but in order to against external cause, it relies more on the internal power. If you are a deep believer of Western medicine, you do believe in antibiotics' external effect, and I do believe its capability to cure the bacteria infections but not virus. And what is the external cause of cancer, and what external drug can kill cancer? And how many % of cancer patients are cured by external surgery? I am not going to answer or resolve these issues, just explain how you should understand the internal cause, for example right Qi and bad Qi. The Taoist books in the other hand say Qi is some mysterious human body internal force, and there are two types of Qi. One is innate Qi that is carried with the human by birth. One is post-birth or post-nature Qi that is generated in life. The Taoists insist that the innate Qi is the key of long life and self-healing practice, meaning in such exercise to wake up the hidden or dormant innate Qi could make humans stronger. The Buddhist practitioners have also recognized such innate Qi, called it Kundalini or psychic heat, which is well known in the yoga world. The Taoist innate and post-Qi both belong to the right Qi in terms of Chinese medicine. Kundalini is inner potential power, which is the same as innate Qi. It is said that when you have awakened Kundalini, your self-healing power becomes enormous. Both practices enhance the right Qi on purposely so to against the bad Qi to prevent diseases. As the answer to the above question of how to use your internal cause to against diseases, however, both Taoists and Buddhists are not satisfied with just the medical solutions, they are trying to make more out of it, to make innate Qi as a special or even supernatural human force. This is not crazy. Chinese Kung Fu or Wushu is a good example. Shaolin and Ji Kung Fu are very famous in the world now. When you practice Kung Fu, your masters always tell you to exercise Qi, use Qi to do the combat fighting instead of using muscle force. The so-called Kung Fu in Chinese actually means the exercise of inner Qi. It is an exercise and the result of such exercise. If inner Qi is produced, you will have superpower, much more than the natural people. This kind of supernatural is in terms of the text meaning, beyond nature. It does not mean a vampire power. You don't have to be a vampire, for you only need to exercise Kung Fu. Note, I have noticed some people in the 1980s were trying to relate Qi into physics and trying to use Karl Marx materialism to explain it as material, and some even tried to use quantum physics to make it up as some kind of puzzles in the universe like the ancient ether theory. Some 1990 Chinese medicine books have defined Qi as essence materials of human body because the Chinese universities have to worship Marxism. So just never mind about these new concepts. You should make it as a real science subject to do some serious physical and chemical experimental research to prove Qi as materials, if you can. So just leave it alone with the Taoist metaphysics immaterialism philosophy. You cannot use the modern science knowledge to force a traditional idea into some man-made science definition without experimental proofs. It is ridiculous and it does not help people to understand Chinese medicine, instead it damages the Chinese medicine. This paragraph is not the major content in this Qi section, but I think I have to mention it because there are many noises around this area. With this clarification we just move on and will not waste time here to do these useless arguments. Qi is the internal cause of health. Qi is the human inner force. The third point and most important point of all is Qi can be transformed into spirit. This is the most important idea Taoists wants to tell, and that is Shen.
Shen
Is mentioned in various books as spirit, mind, mental, consciousness, subconscious, thought, soul etc. By all means, it is immaterial and non-physical state. It is not the material brain that the brain is in Jing category. It is also different from the Western religion or philosophy that Chinese do not specially talk about soul, only the Buddhism believers believe that the soul can be in reincarnation. Most of the Chinese refer Shen to
精神
spirit. This spirit is neither Holy Spirit nor supernatural ghost spirit. It is the nature of an individual human being in terms of his motion, emotion, character etc. It is the force of mind, the courage, intelligence, wisdom etc. When they are talking about the body and the spirit as a pair of life form of human beings, it is more related to physiology and psychology pairing. In the Chinese medicine, the illness such as depression, anxiety, fear etc. are called spirit disease simply. It is only in the modern time they started to name them one by one in its psychological terminology. Furthermore, the Chinese medicine often related the mental diseases to the physical diseases. For example, they say anger hurts your liver, and in the other hand, liver illness people are often showing a bad temper. Medically we can give many examples of mental spirit affecting body illness, but the importance is to use this idea to prevent illness. To have a happy life, a good spirit is the best way to avoid diseases. Sleep well, do not to be aggressive or offensive, humble, sit back and calm, rest yourselves and do not go to your limit of capability are always the advice among ordinary people. Calm Shen, in Chinese mean all that. So Shen or spirit is mostly used like this, as we have discussed in the previous chapter. Soul or Han is the determination and volition of mind. Shen is very often represents Han in the literature. We can also relate Shen to soul, but it is the Chinese medicine's soul, so that, the Jing Qi Shen separate description is as the above and it looks very complicated. But if you put the big picture of the three life form concept in mind, this complication can be resolved nicely. The complexity is actually the more in-depth knowledge to you than more confusing. Jing Qi Shen relationship. The important concept is not the definition, it is the relationship among them. Jing, Qi, Shen are not three isolated and independent items or factors. And they can be transformed from each other and to each other. Meaning, you cannot really define specially for Jing alone or Qi alone. The transformation between them is understandable. It is known that mental and physical are totally related, and a mental disease can cause a physical disease and vice versa. Despite its profound or spiritual level of theory, I shall explain this type of transformation in a very normal way. When your body is strong and in a good shape, you can feel you are very energetic to run, to jump and to fight, and also you have a good spirit to think, to argue, to create. Rich Jing is transformed to strengthen Qi and Shen. And if you are good spirit, meaning nothing to worry, always happy, then you can eat more, absorb more and easy to do physical exercise to become good athletic. Good spirit Shen is transformed to enhance Jing and Qi. When you do more physical exercise to increase your power, you will have better body health and mental health. Strong Qi is transformed to enhance Jing and Shen. This type of transformation is not about material transform into immaterial or chemical/physical reaction. It is the living human state transformation. You should always not relate to the physics and chemistry and think about those dead materials in reaction. It is to say to convert the body essence into human internal force or inner force and then to be converted into spirit power. In another word, if you are powerful you must be powerful of bio-body, chi force and spirit, three in all. Very powerful body with stupid mind or scared mind doesn't mean you are a strong man. A wise and intellect mind with a weak body with no inner force to walk out of your front door doesn't mean you have a good spirit. This above explanation is very easy to understand. And it is an excellent advice for health. So to understand Jing Qi Shen in this angle is easier from the starting point of view, and based on this, we can go further and deeper into the innate nature of Jing Qi Shen, the profound concept, especially innate Qi and innate Shen. In the traditional books they are called Yi Qi and Yuan Shen.
二
The innate Yi Qi
仪器
and Yuan Shen.
元神
Yi Qi is the initial force source of life and Yuan Shen is the original core or soul of human mind. Both come in the beginning of a human life formulation and ends in the end of life. When a sperm meets an egg, some magic happens. Bioorganic cells suddenly have a life. It is said in the traditional books that at this moment it is the inner force source and the core of mind, Yi Qi and Yuan Shen, to support this magic life. Some readers might want to ask that where did they come from? This is as good as asking that where did human life come from, and I have no answer to this. So if you believe in God, they are given by God. If you believe in Buddhism, they come from reincarnation. And if you believe in Taoism, they come from some mysterious place in the deep universe. So, if you believe in nothing, then they come from the air with a wing. We really do not care about this issue. Ancient Taoists did not want to touch this issue about where is life coming from and where it is going to, because it does not help for the issue they care. The only thing they care is how do we live better and live longer to take a good care of our life. Just keep in mind that the initial life needs and has the support of Yi Qi and Yuan Shen before the baby is born, and do not care where do they come from. It is not the end of story, it is just the beginning. The Chinese ancient medicine book says, this innate Qi is not only with the fetus before it is born and is born with the infant and supports the child growing up to become an adult. It is said that when the age of a man is 2 times of 8 equal to 16 and a woman is 2 times of 7 equal to 14, they start to have sexual capabilities and ready to generate the next generation. And this capability is innate, that it is given by the Yi Qi. And when they are getting older and older, the innate Yi Qi is used up for their growth and maturity, until man is 7 times 8 equal to 56 and woman is 7 times 7 equals 49. They have almost used up all of the remainder innate Qi and step into climacterium. When man is 8 times 8 equal to 64 and women is 8 times 7 equal to 56, the climacterium period finally finished, and that means the innate Qi is totally dry up, they are in the old and rotten age. Therefore, it is said that the innate Yi Qi is the life source. It cannot be recreated by taking food or medicine. People can still live several decades after this, but there is normally no reproduction, and the spirit or inner force is totally different from before, unless you can keep your Yi Qi for longer time, and it is possible. If you take a good care of your life by following the Chinese medicine theory, it is possible to save the use of Yi Qi and prolong the mentioned period for some years or even decades more. That is why some people in their 70s or even 80s can still reproduce and as healthy as a youth. In contrast, if one is taking a bad living style or he is sick very often in his life, he would speed the usage of his precious innate Qi and shorten his life like the ancient emperors. Even though they are rich and with dictator power, but they have hundreds of wives and drink too much, eating unhealthy food, so that they use too much Yi Qi in a short period of time and dry up before the said age. Therefore most of them actually live a shorter life than the usual people. Now let's hold on here for a moment of thinking to digest this idea. A piece of Qi comes with the human life and stay with him or her in the whole life and used up during the lifetime. Therefore it is called innate, and therefore it must have another piece of Qi that is not innate, not before born, it is the post-born Qi. The post-Qi is generated by the life activities, such as food absorption and exercise etc. to support a human being's daily activities. In normal circumstances they do not combine to be one Qi. The innate chi use up means it slowly becomes post-chi, while post-chi cannot become innate chi to make it up. So burned out is burned out, just like a candle. Therefore one way to prolong the life is to save the innate chi, use up it carefully and slowly, and this is the lifestyle, food, exercise, mindset, immunity of reducing the illness, etc. Such things that the traditional Chinese medicine books always teach and the elderly people always murmured to their kids and grandchildren, and the youth have never wanted to listen. Another way is the Taoists' way. They are trying to enhance or create more innate chi for endless using. This is the creativity. Though the medical book says that post-chi cannot be converted into innate chi, it is for the normal people. But the Taoists believe they are not normal. This not-so-normal group of people in the past several thousand years did created a number of practice methods for their own exercises, and some of them have proven to be useful or somewhat useful. I will fully discuss these practices in part A of this book, but this paragraph is very important theoretically and philosophically. To understand so far as I have said is the basic knowledge to conduct those exercises later on. If you don't know the theory here, those exercises is just as good as some sports to you physically, and if you really understand the theory, then the exercises helps for boosting the chi. This is the know-how issue that is so important for the practice. To keep in mind at this stage that the so-called chi exercise or self-training it meant to yi chi, the innate chi, not to the post-born chi. Certainly it is also good for post-chi, and also in the recent history since Ming Dynasty some practitioners started to switch their attention to the post-born chi and jing exercise, but that is not the original purpose of Taoists in the early days for innate chi transformation.
3.
Yuan Shen and Shi Shen, the soul of mind is Yuan Shen. Does a pre-born baby have a mind? I don't know, ask the baby. But what I know from the traditional books is the post-born baby has two shens in one mind. One is called Yuan Shen and one called Shi Shen. The fourth comes at the starting moment of life generation, and the latter is by growing naturally and by learning with experiences. A human Yuan Shen has the human nature, so it is not a pig mind or a dog mind. It must be a human mind at the very beginning. Yuan Shen for a human is the key differentiation to other animals. Animals can have a mind, consciousness, emotion of anger and fear and so on. That is the same as a human. But only human has human Yuan Shen, only dog has dog Yuan Shen, definitely. Each kind Yuan Shen has the kind of animal's innate nature from the very beginning, so that's why we call Yuan Shen as innate nature Shen and call Shi Shen as post-nature. Not only differ from animals, each individual is different and with a different personality, and this is not heredity, it is Yuan Shen nature. Different person has different personality, different consciousness, subconscious and emotion. This is partially from the heredity and partially developed from the individual experiences. But even brothers with the same heredity and living in the same family with the same experiences are different in terms of personality. So beyond the human heredity nature, the higher level nature of such an individual comes from Yuan Shen. There is no explanation of what the so-called higher level nature is. It is a statement in the traditional books. The only explanation of some wise man told us is, you will understand in the exercise. So we shall discuss this in the part A. Do not refer to the subconscious or the alike. Also Yuan Shen is not a DNA or the type. It does not have any memory passed down from your parents or ancestors. It is just pure nature. The famous psychologist Carl Jung has studied a Taoism book called The Secret of the Golden Flower, translated by his early friend Richard Wilhelm. In this book, the Yuan Shen and Shi Shen are fully described and first introduced to the Western readers. Dr. Jung then invented a collective unconscious, based on both Sigmund Freud's unconscious and Taoism Yuan Shen concepts. His collective unconscious concept is not fully recognized by the psychology world, and also by reading his textbook, I do not think it is the Yuan Shen that is described in the original Chinese language Book of Golden Flower. In this book, the first definition of Yuan Shen is that the soul resides in Yuan Shen, which Dr. Jung had failed to explain. Though I am not going to compare them here, but indeed it is a very good reference. It is the first introduction in the West, and also Dr. Jung is famous, much more famous than I am in any ways. The differentiation of human and animals and the collective unconscious mentioned in the above are really not very important. It is just to let the readers have more understanding of what is what. The important philosophy is as follows. Qi Shen covered Yuan Shen more and more during the human growing up and getting older, and eventually you lost your Yuan Shen. Human nature becomes a puppet of the society. We should purposely uncover our Yuan Shen by some meditation exercise to restore our innate nature, in that process to enhance our Yi Qi, for example Shen and Qi transformation here. If you can uncover your Yuan Shen and come back to your nature, then you can have more nature Qi. That's the answer to the previous chapter, that how Taoists to create their natural Yi Qi. This part is the most important part and the key of the two Shens. Qi Shen is by growing and by learning. Taoists think it is a bad thing, but the parents, teachers, bosses and governors think it is a good thing. The parents want you to grow up as a good person, and teachers want you to be an ethical and knowledge person. The Chinese boss says communism is the best, and the American governor wants you to fight for democracy. You might think by your own that the best thing for me is to have money, good food, that pretty girlfriend. So when all of these ideas have come in and fully occupied your mind, you become an adult and you lost your innocence nature. If by then you can handle all these ideas well and live and work with other people happily, you are a normal adult. If you cannot handle them well and confused and depressed by all the contradiction of these ideas and eventually gone crazy, then you become a madman. If you can sort them all out and create your own idea, and use your own idea to lead and govern all of the others, ideas in your consciousness, and become very conscious of your own everyday, then, congratulations, you become a philosopher. If you can forget all of these filled up ideas and show up your Yuan Shen and only your Yuan Shen, then, you become a Buddha, or in Chinese you become an awakened Taoist. This is the philosophy the traditional books wanted to tell you.
4.
Soul, spirit and supernatural. In the previous chapter, I have said philosophically this soul is not that soul and the spirit is not the supernatural thing, and they are all immaterial. In this Jing Qi Shen chapter we have to bring it up again and going deeper. Jing is material, Qi is not, but somehow arguable, and Shen is definitely not. Here the words soul and spirit in Chinese ancient books have occurred all over the places, not only in medicine books. They are before Jesus' time or even Moses' time. It is a well-accepted concept of life. And there have been no such thing as creationism and atheistic and their conflicts in the history, so that I hope the materialism and spiritualism fighting should not affect our discussion of Chinese tradition issue. Yuan Shen is the soul in spirit state, and as we mentioned above, it is the individual human innate nature starts at the beginning moment of life. Qi Shen has the property of consciousness and subconscious and all of other psychology subjects. All of the psychology discussions are within Qi Shen. Meaning Yang Shen is beyond the psychology world in philosophy level or layer. In the Chinese culture or tradition, the so-called supernatural means something beyond reach or control by human beings, such as how to make people fly as a bird in the sky, how to use human power to stop the floodwater or forest fire, how to control thunderstorm or tornado, how to communicate with the animals or make the rice or fruit grow faster, especially how to make people long life. There are no such thing as angel, demon and vampire, the typical supernatural things in the West culture or religion. The Chinese gods are somehow like officials, for example the gods of the village, city and the gods of mountain and river, gods of wing and rain etc. They worship their ancestors and war hero as their protection gods. The spiritual or soul is not related to God or gods and obey a lord. Here the spiritual concept means the human should have a good spirit, strong spirit, and to use his own spiritual power to do their supernatural things mentioned above. It is the human's spirit, their own human spirit, to serve for themselves on their own purposes. It is not to pray for a god or gods to give them spiritual power or sold their soul to the devil to trade for supernatural power. Rain is nature. If you can control the rain and it rain to a dry field, you have the supernatural power. If you pray the Lord and beg gods or ghosts to make it rain for you, that we do not consider as supernatural, it is just borrowed the power from the others. Supernatural or not is only that it is the power belonged to you or not.
5.
Mental or physical, spirit or body. Now I have come a key point that in the Jing Qi Shen theory. Jing Qi Shen transform among the three and mainly between Shen and Qi. As I have mentioned in the beginning, it is about mental and physical, psychological and physiological. We all agree that mental and physical health can affect each other, but which one is the major side or the directing side? The answer in the ancient Chinese medicine and Taoist books is the human spirit, and that means mental. It is said that angry hurts the liver, fear hurts kidney, worry hurts lung, etc. It is also said sleep early and get up early, keep your mental and physical exercise. Don. T worry and don. T be rapacity, just calm down and sit back so that you shall enjoy a healthy and longer life. This is simply expressing the idea that psychological relief can make your physiological body healthier. The directing side is in the psychology side. Going further, meditation can gain more spirit power, and the spirit power can fix your illness. Now, this sounds like a supernatural issue. Here the natural self-healing and immunity become supernatural power. They are not only come with your body naturally, but they can be directed by your spirit, to be enhanced and created. What is this self-healing power or inner force? It is Yi Qi, the innate nature Qi that comes in the beginning of a human life formulation. Yuan Shen enhancement exercise can enhance Yi Qi. To enhance the spirit or mental power, one can enhance his immunity and self-healing. Spirit directing the mental health and physical health is what the traditional Chinese medicine theory is about. This theory is evolved from the earlier Taoist philosophy. This philosophy focuses on human long life, and long life means that the human spirit and body should be all long life. This is very different from the spirit-directing religion of Christianity, which believes the soul can have its own long life in heaven and the body could die, or Buddhism, which believes that when the body is dead, the soul goes for reincarnation forever. Taoism is philosophy and traditional Chinese medicine is theory. They both are not religion. They are totally different from Buddhism or Christianity. The key difference here is the philosophy of long life. If the human body dies, spirit or soul dies together. Therefore, the self-healing is very important, since most of people die on diseases,
6.
illness and drugs. The traditional Chinese medicine theory was founded by Taoists in the first place. The purpose is to save their own life, since they are a group of long life desirers. The definition of drug is Jing Qi Shen. Yes, the first definition of drug is called inner drug. It is inside the human body, to distinguish the external drugs of herb, animal parts or some metal mines. Inner drug Jing Qi Shen, again, can be explained in a number of different ways, as I have covered in the earlier chapter. The simple explanation is that Jing contains the human body's curing materials such as the white blood cells etc. Qi's immunity and self-healing power and inner force source to strengthen Jing, and Shen is spirit power. The true drugs that cure diseases are Jing and Qi. But Jing and Qi are not only weakening with the old age but also wasted by some bad lifestyles such as too much sex and too much works, too much worry. These bad habits are directed mentally. Even though the damage is physical, but the cause is mental. Therefore, if you mentally recognize the bad habit and overcome them with a good and strong spirit, you shall have a good health. Good health in terms of psychology and physiology both. This is the simplest and most scientific explanation for the inner drug and spirit-driven health theory. Are the external drugs useless? No, of course not. They are very useful. But in theory, they are not used to kill the diseases directly. The external drugs are used as the indirect tools to enhance and strengthen the internal drugs. That is in the Chinese medicine theory of yin and yang. The herbs etc. are taken to make your body in balance of cool/heat, weak/strong, happy/sad, angry/fear etc. to keep you in a good shape, therefore you can have a good immunity system in place. But the Taoists said that the external drugs are not as important as the spirit. They are the help from the outside, but the key is always inside. Outside help can help to a limit, but the all of the human life change are happening inside. The inner factor is always more important than the external factor. For example, if you warm an egg, a chicken could come out of it. But if you warm a piece of rock, no chicken can be out of it. That is simply because the inner factor of the egg is chicken egg and the inner factor of the rock is just rock. As for Chinese medicine theory, if you do not have a good spirit, no matter how many drugs you are using and no matter how good the drugs are, they can only help you temporarily. Going further, how do you strengthen your spirit? How do you gain your spirit power to be against your diseases? For example, you know that smoking is not good, but can you just say I want to quit, then you quit it? More complicated example is, can you suddenly stop your business when it is still gaining a lot of money every day, or quit your position in the very high level of government or large corporation when there is still room for you to move up? If you say I have already earned enough for the family to live in a comfortable life and I want to slow down to enhance my health condition, is that enough reason to make you quit? Yes or no? It is all depending on how strong or how demanded your spirit is. Normally people cannot make that type of decision to quit, not even quit their smoking. So again, because we are not in a religion, you do not ask God or Buddha to give you the strength. We are only human. We cannot reasoning ourselves to make up our mind for everything. Men are most of time driven by emotion, not always mind-driven. Therefore, no gods, not human, supernatural takes place. Taoists believe the supernatural thing can happen during their exercise, namely Jing Qi Shen transformation exercise. They believe that, when you are doing exercise to some degree, your Shen can be calmed down, very calm, that you will see something in you consciousness that you don't see every day. The calm state is very important. There is a similar calm state in yoga called samadhi state. In this type of Shen state of consciousness state, supernatural things happen. However, this supernatural thing is not to become some gods or demons or seeing the vampires. This supernatural thing is a strong and shining new An Shen appearing to make you spirit and your chi super strong to cure those diseases that normally is not curable by doctors. So here the God is yourself, you save yourself. You cannot be saved by either gods or doctors, and you cannot save the others, you can only save yourself, and you can only be saved by yourself. This is such a good philosophy I admire the most.
7.
Salve your own life. There are no saviors and one does not rely on gods and kings. Your life is on your own hands. Somehow we call this as Tao, the human. Tao, human Tao. Tao is a Chinese word in pronunciation, the sound of a character. Translating in English is the way you drive and the way you follow. The way the nature obeys, such as the sun goes up and down and there are day and night and 4 seasons. The way that human and animals obey, such as eating food, breathing air and give birth to the next generation. However, this is the appearance of the natural way. The true way is the earth goes around the sun to have 4 seasons and the earth spinning itself to have the day and night. The truth is human should control his/her own life to keep himself/herself alive. You are born in a human family and this family lives inside a human society. So you will have to obey all the family rules and society rules in your life. In this reason, you cannot fully control your life. You want freedom, you fight for democracy or fight for communism for the control of your life. That's nonsense, very much idiot opinion that you have been sold by the others into sacrifice. Fighting for freedom is to make sacrifice of your life for other people's life. It is not to save your life. To fight for better life, for example, to be rich, to be famous, to be powerful in order to control other people's life are all illness mind. How many rich and famous die in their early age? Is there any powerful emperor of China still live in the world? This is also not fight for your life. Even though it is very different from the above sacrifice your life for the others, it is to fight for a better living style, but not for the health and long life. The correct human Tao is to live with the family and obey the society rules happily, or to make yourself to live happily. while at the same time take a good care of your health, your Jing Qi Shen, in order to live longer. So this life is not that life. This life is your spirit and you bio body to live longer in this world with your family and friends. This life is not that one needs freedom of speech, freedom of making money, freedom of eating and freedom of drinking. Speaking too much loses your chi or your inner force. Making too much money you are afraid of losing them and going nuts. Eating too much makes you fat and lazy. Drinking too much you will be drunk, and freedom of sex with the many parties you can be HIV positive. This is to give up your life, instead of save it. Those are something to avoid in terms of we say control our own life, control our Shen, our mind, to avoid these bad spirit and reinstall the human Tao. The Taoists believe that the correct human Tao is in your Yuan Shen, by given in the beginning of your life to behave as a human instead of an animal. But this human nature or human Tao is covered by Qi Shen and you cannot recognize it. Therefore, meditation exercise to show the Yuan Shen, to life Yuan Shen shining its own intellect of human Tao is the answer to all of the questions and doubts we have said in the above. Chapter 3, the Channel and Storage System Theory.
一
Qi Channel System.
经脉
Read as Jingmai. The translation usually is meridians or channels. Meridian is used for direct translation of the character meaning and does not make much sense, so I use channel in this book for both Jing and Mai or Jingmai as one word to reduce the confusing discussion. Even though Jingmai has many functions described in the history, but the major function is the channel of Qi. Qi is moving all the time in human body from organ to organ and system to system alone, these channels as a network. If at somewhere a channel is blocked and Qi cannot pass though, the human is sick. There are thousands of such channels in a human body and usually the Chinese medicine focuses on 12 normal channels and 8 extra channels. The names of 12 channels are made with the yin-yang and organ name combination. As I have introduced in Chapter 1, yin-yang philosophy and the human functional systems and organ functions are very complex. Therefore, I am not going to explain these channels one by one with its name and function, which can be read in a number of acupuncture books in depth. I will just explain some points when it is necessary during following discussions. So does the 8 extra channels. However, there are 2 major channels people very often mentioned in various fields of medicine, acupuncture, Taoist practice, Tji and Shelin Washu Kung Fu are Du channel and Ren channel, Figure Du and Figure Ren. We will discuss these in the following section. There are a lot of arguments in the history and the Western medicine still does not recognize their existing. Main reason is they cannot be seen and felt in anatomy. The argument from the Chinese are always like they are only active in a living person but not in a dead body. Some experiments have been conducted to detect the channel but the results are not very firm. They are not like the blood vessels that have an organic tube. Also they are not the nerve net even though there is some overlap between these 2 nets and somehow similar functions with acupuncture reaction. But in theory they are different things. Qi is immaterial and it is invisible and cannot be felted. Therefore, the channel for Qi is also immaterial and invisible. They are not physical. You can feel an acupuncture needle stick but this is not the feeling from the channel, it is merely the skin and nerve stimulation. That is what I mentioned overlapping. Nerve stimulation can fix some problems and somehow similar to the reaction of acupuncture curing. Channels are not physical, but the ways to use them for healing are physical. Acupuncture is mentioned too many times and the famous Chinese breathing exercises or called meditation breathing training is actually more important but less mentioned in the medicine books.
二 气
Qi and
气
Qi. Qi in Chinese medicine and Tao is Jing Qi Shen is
气
not
气
Qi, which is air and gas. I specify the medicine terminology as Qi and the gas as Qi. They are the same pronunciation with different characters. However, in recent history the simplified Chinese character made them as one character,
气
so that a lot of modern Chinese people have mistaken the medicine theory Qi as the gas Qi. Even in the modern print Chinese medicine books are printed as
气
Qi and some teachers told the students it is in gas state, it is material gas. This is a very unfortunate mistake and it causes a big confusing in the academic discussions. Breath is to inhale and exhale qi, air. Chinese medicine is using breathing exercise to lead and guide qi movement in channel, which is called qi exercise or sometimes qi gong. Also some people called it qi exercise to especially emphasize that it is the exercise to boost qi, that the purpose is not for qi. They are all correct and no confusing. Directing the movement of qi to cover the whole body can strengthen the human body, and also more importantly such qi floating can open wider the channels to keep it clear for qi circulation all the time. Internal movement is the key to clear them up.
3.
Du channel,
督脉
and
任脉
Ren channel, figure du and figure Ren. The breathing exercise is said to lead or guide the qi floating or circulation in the channels all over your body. But in the practice, the training is basically focuses on these two main channels of human body, Du and Ren. Du is in the center of the back. Du starts from the middle point of two legs and all the way up to the top point of head, and then down to the middle point of two eyes and further down to the palate in mouth. In the back, Du believed to be inside of the vertebral column from end to end and above it going through the brain to the top. Ren is in the center of the front. Ren starts from the end of Du, that in the center of palate, through the tongue down to the through and down to the middle of the chest, then down to the navel and then down to the starting point of Du between the legs. This is a circulation in one condition, that one must stick his tongue to the upper palate of the mouth to make the bridge. All of the thousands of channels are cross either Ren or Du. The circulation of qi in this circle of Ren Du is also radiated to the other channels, that going through the 12 normal channels and their sub-channels. One method of breathing exercise is called guiding qi to go around the small universe, or simply small universe. That is using the mind imagination to guide your qi arising from the bottom of Du to the top head and then sinking down from the head to the bottom along Ren, coordinated by the inhale and exhale of breathing to go through a circle. This circle is called a small universe. You image your body as a small universe which is connected to the outside universe, the big one. The detail of this method will be covered in part A. Here I am just explaining the importance of Du and Ren. Another thing I have mentioned here about mind guiding is also an important exercise we will cover later when we review the Shin Spirit Force exercises.
4.
Du and vertebral column and brain. There are two important things to know about Du besides the qi circulation. It goes through to most important parts, vertebral column and brain. The power of arms and legs is coming from the vertebral column. The intelligence is from the brain. Old people's arms and legs are weak because of their vertebral column is aging. They become stubborn since their brain is losing enough blood supply. There are various types of self-healing exercise, and some of them with physical body movements exercise to stretch your vertebral column together with breathing training, and some conduct meditation to clean up the long-time garbage in the brain. Both of them are all based on Du channel. Physical movement and still meditation plus breathing exercise are always the Taoist and Buddhist practices. Taoists ones includes a number of sets, and even Tzu has adopted this ideas. Buddhist ones is actually yoga, a variation of yoga practices. In China the most popular one is Zhangmi, some called Tibet Tantric. In the physical side, all of them have an essential spinal column stretch movement. Somehow these movement looks like stretching their arms, necks, legs, but the tantric or secret methodology always tells the practitioners the inner or unseen movement is actually inside your trunk, the vertebral column. It says you need to be nicely using your internal force to stretch out each vertebra, from the bottom to the neck one after another, to lengthen the tendon or gluten between each vertebra bone. Lengthen 1 inch of the vertebral column can prolong 10 years of life, it is said. One more important part in this type of exercise is the breathing training. The movement of stretch will have to be applied with the breathing training together to guide the qi go through your Du channel at the same time. Physical plus mental exercise benefits your vertebral health. When you are doing so, it is also exercising your mental guiding power to benefit your brain, and also the qi going low the brain all the way to the top head helps the brain. There are also a number of exercise to help brain directly in both Buddhist and Taoist practices, but it is somehow dangerous for a normal person to practice without guidance that I am not going to cover. However, The point I have just made with the do exercise can help the brain a lot, and this type of exercise is enough even for advanced practitioners. When people get older, their brain becomes very problematic. Insufficient blood supply and therefore insufficient oxygen supply is very normal in the healthy group of old people. Alzheimer, dementia, Parkinson etc. are very often seen today. Brain blood vessel problems are more serious than the other problems. Here it is said by the Chinese medicine that do exercise can help. Brain is one of the 3 qi storages. Qi arising from the bottom storage along do going to the upper storage, which is the brain, and store there. It is not really a treatment to cure the brain diseases, but it certainly helps to prolong the brain aging.
5.
3 qi storage is dantian.
丹田
Dan
丹
means drug. Normally people think the Chinese drug is herb sup. However, in 2 to 3,000 ago we already have pills for easy to store and travel. The Chinese pill is called Dan. Dan is solid and small, round like round bead. The Taoists exercise of Jing Qi Shen is also called Dan exercise or inner Dan practice. And there are some drugs have herb plus metal mines that Dan shows golden color and is often called gold Dan. As I have mentioned before, we call Jing Qi Shen as inner drug and Bifa specifically. The exercise for inner drug is called inner Dan practice. Dantian is mentioned in a lot of medicine, Taoist and good health books in history, and it is a very familiar and popular concept in China. It is known as the storage of qi. Qi is not like blood floating all the time. It can be and must be stored somewhere. Taoists also believe that the bottom dantian is the place to cook gold dan like a furnace. However, because the Rao dug in such inner gold dan is qi, it is believed to be highly concentrate qi stored in dantian. Bottom dantian, middle dantian and upper dantian are the so-called 3 dantians. Ren channel go through these 3. Therefore, when we said before that the qi is guided to go though do and then ren, qi should stay in each dantian for a while before it goes on, or it is like a river going through 3 lakes, and that some qi exchanges with the remained qi in the reservoirs. The channel cannot be dried, so is the reservoirs. Again, for emphasis I repeat, qi goes through the circle of du and ren channels. Du is passing though the vertebral column and the brain, while ren is going though 3 Dacian reservoirs. Young and healthy people are always like that, but when they are old the channel would be blocked sometimes and the reservoirs would be dried out. Therefore, the set of Taoist internal small universe exercise was made to guide the qi doing its own path to make them young again.
6.
3 nadis and 7 chakras in Indian yoga. Upon until this chapter, I have to mention this Indian concept. If you really don't know and not so interested in Indian yoga, then you can skip this chapter. The reason I have to cover it here is that many Taoists practice interested people are also interested in yoga, and some have already possessed rich knowledge of it and they would relate the above to yoga immediately. Nadis are channels. Theoretically they are the same, but no comparison of the layouts in a human body. The 3 major nadis are in the middle, and within them the central one is the most important one, Sushumna. The 7 chakras, 3 of them are overlapping with the 3 dantians and have the similar reservoir-like property. But the main function of chakra is different from Dacian. Also, chakra is the central of subnadis. Yoga also has thousands of subnadis and they are all over the body. Qi in yoga is similar to prana. However, the innate qi is similar to kundalini. Their Zhangmi tantric yoga exercise is very close to Taoist or Chinese medicine in 3 areas: asanas, body pose and movement exercise; pranayama, breath internal force exercise; pratyahara, mental spiritual exercise. Zhangmi yoga originated in the southwest China. Zhizang is a part of Chinese Buddhist practice in Tang dynasty, and it became popular in both Ming and Qing dynasties in major part of China such as Beijing for at least 500 years. Therefore, the latter Taoist or Chinese medicine exercise have also mixed with some or its ideas and exercises. Even Chinese Kung Fu such as Qi and Xinyi has included the method of dredging Sushumna. In my opinion, Sushumna is somehow overlapping with Du and broader than Du, so that it includes also Ren together. Meaning, it includes both Ren Du and vertebral column, brain and 3 dantians altogether therefore certainly possess the functions of both ren and du. My opinion is they are both good and related, but I am not going to put them into one family and compress them into one practice. In department it involves the religion major differences and is out of the purpose of this book for health discussion mainly. Some modern practitioners in the past 30 years have tried to extract the religion content out of either Tao or Buddhism yoga and take their pure and useful part of exercises from different practices to combine them together, making a new type of practice. I do admire their work, but it is too early to discuss and make judgment. I just more or less listed some facts here in order to let both yoga and Taoist interesting parties to have some ideas of what is what. I will have to separate both exercises in part A to discuss them separately.
7.
Qi in a Qi exercise. Qi Quan is a popular exercise in China and in the world, in which Quan means wushu or martial art. Qi is just a name by using the Taoist terminology of yin-yang. Yin-yang here mainly means this is a type of martial art that to use the power with false and true force in balance. You use false force to trick your opponent to let him lost balance and then use true powerful force to hit him. This type of force is called inner force or hidden force, that is the opposite of the boxing type of explore force. However, some Chinese medicine researchers take it differently. They think it in the Chinese medicine way of yin-yang balance and made it as a health exercise instead of fighting skill. Slow and calm, it is like a moving meditation. Moving is yang and meditation is yin. Moving shows true force and meditation shows false force or virtual force. And more importantly, the inner force is qi. When you are moving your arms or legs to push or hit out, you shall image your precious qi arising from your bottom dantian and go along your do, for example vertebral column, to your arm or leg and then your hand or foot to empower the force. During this type of exercise inner qi is created and enforced. They believe this inner qi force is much better than the muscle force. This actually similar to the Tao and Mi I have mentioned above to exercise and enhance qi. They just want to make their point that the slow movement qi helps the health process while the other combat martial arts cannot. They want you be nice to your life instead of fighting. Fighting sports such as boxing hurt people and it is not a good idea to be encouraged. This is just another example I am listing here. The examples of Qi channel exercises in the field of Chinese medicine, Taoist, Buddhist and Wushu Qi. These looks like sports movements can be used as the exercises of Qi channel by using the above theories and the imagination guiding methodology. So instead of calling it martial art, I think it is the Qi channel art.
8.
The acupuncture points on channels. When we are talking about the concept of channel, the acupuncture points cannot be ignored, even though we are not going to talk about acupuncture here. Besides the needle acupuncture, a lot of people are using their own finger to poke these points, which is called finger press. In principle it is the same in terms of qi circulation healing. Finger press is a very good and convenient self-healing therapy. So exactly what are these points? They are not visible and feelable by touch. Only when you use needles to punch them you can feel some relief of your illness. To find those points are all based on experiences. There are not clear history records about how did people find these points in the ancient days and no records about who exactly found them or invent acupuncture. So it is believed that all these points are found one after another in a very long history of over 1,000 years in the medical practice. All these points link together to give the lines and these lines are channels. This is experienced before theory development or the channel theory is developed based on this experience. No matter what happened before, we have possessed this valuable theory and apply it to our own practice. As we have mentioned numerous times before, the imagination guiding qi to go through channels can also be applied to these points. If you are sick and you check the acupuncture book about what points should be used, you remember them and use your finger to press them, then imaging your qi coming from bottom dantian along the right channel to warm this point. Or during the acupuncture by professionals, and while you are sitting there, you can do the same meditation to image that. It shall help the result a lot more.
9.
3 layers of human body. Qi and its channels storages are invisible and immaterial, but they truly exist in human body. It is distinguished from the material organic body. And we have also discussed human beings to have their souls. There are 3 layers of a human body, which is the bio-organic body, the channel body and the spirit body. This is a revolutionary concept by Chinese medicine theory. Instead of soul materialism, dualism, we have this 3 bodies in one idea. Jing is the bio-organic form and it forms the body that we are seeing every day. This is easy to understand. Shen or spirit or soul is also easy to be accepted since the religions have covered this topic in the whole world. Although the Christian soul concept is different from the Buddhist one and the Chinese medicine soul is a part of Shen concept of psychological concept, soul is well known anyway and the readers can relate it to anything they believe. For instance, the Buddhist can always take the soul layer concept as reincarnation. In their doctrine the bio-body can die and they do not care too much about it. A Buddhist really cares about is his reincarnation for his next life, and the next life is the newborn of his soul. Therefore, he knows he has 2 layers of bodies separately. A Taoist does not believe reincarnation or goes to heaven kind of after-death religion, but he still believes that he has a soul and his soul can be combined into the nature and universe. Qi and its storage and channels are not spirit and it is also immaterial, that is not bio-organic materials. This is the human inner force layer, but it is non-physical according to traditional Chinese medicine either. Therefore, to call it the energy-like force might cause some confusing. Aristotle's metaphysics did not have a subject that is immaterial and non-spirit. Therefore it is not only non-physical but also non-metaphysical. This is the most difficult concept to be understood since only the ancient Chinese and Indians have such concepts of channels and nadis, chakras, and inside them the Qi or Kundalini. So this is new to the Western philosophers and scientists: material layer, Qi layer and spirit layer. However, if you are studying the traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture or trying to learn the Taoist practice and Chinese martial arts, you will have to understand this idea, since most of the related exercises and self-healings are within this layer. So that is why in the above theory part, I have spent so much effort to explain it, and in the following practice chapters I will still focus on it.
1.